the iPhone 5. I'm still using it. I still think the box looks pretty epic, and I've been very happy with this phone for about a year. You know, when the 5S came out, I was wondering if my phone was gonna immediately become obsolete, but you know what? It wasn't, because most people that I'm around still use like the iPhone 4 and 4S. So what are my predictions for the iPhone 6? At least that's what I'm guessing they're gonna call it. There are several things that we thought they were gonna do that they didn't before, and now we're wondering, are they really gonna do those things? Now I've come up with a few theories based on patterns in the past. What I realized about the iPhone 5 is that it's as thin as the 4th generation iPod Touch. Yes, it's a very different design. It's still more boxy. You know, the 4th generation iPod Touch was kind of rounded off. But just on my predictions, I'm guessing the iPhone 6 will be as thin as the iPod Touch 5th generation, which is like the thinnest iOS device I've ever seen. I've never owned one personally, but more of my friends have been buying them, and they're really cool. I mean, iOS 7 can fit on them. They're super thin, incredibly light. I don't think I'll ever get one, but it's a really cool iPod. And my guess is the iPhone 6 will keep its box-like design like the iPhone 5, but it will be as thin as the 5th generation iPod Touch. To me, it seems like when Apple makes the iPod Touch, they're just practicing for their next iPhone. They're trying to figure out, okay, how thin can we make our iOS device? Once they've made it as thin as they can, and of course the iPhone is still bigger at the time, then they're like, okay, just make an iPod Touch and put a SIM card and the vibration setting on it. Because that's truly the only difference between an iPod Touch and an iPhone is cellular data and the vibration setting. Now for a while I was thinking, it can't be that hard to turn an iPod Touch into an iPhone. I mean, can't you just add the little headset piece and then call it good? But when I really thought about it, vibration sensors are like little weights that are off balanced and they just spin around really fast. And you know, in something so small like an iPhone, that's kind of hard to put in. So yes, it is a bit of a challenge to make an iPhone out of the same size of an iPod Touch, but Apple does amazing things. In terms of the camera of the iPhone 6, we really expected a big megapixel increase on the 5S, and they didn't change the megapixels at all. This is when Apple does stuff unexpectedly. What they did was make the pixels bigger on the sensor. A few of my friends own the 5S, and the camera is awesome. You know, it's the same amount of megapixels, but it just looks amazing. A lot of Apple's competition has been raising their megapixels dramatically. Remember that Nokia 1020 that was like 41, 42 megapixels? And of course the Samsungs have always been going up. They had 13 megapixels, and I'm sure they'll get higher. But that's what Apple likes to do, is they like to surprise people in ways that the competition didn't expect. So I think on the iPhone 6 camera, megapixel increase is definitely possible, but if it doesn't, it's still gonna be better. A lot of people out there think the megapixel is just the quality of the image, when really, it's more about the sensor. To give you a little comparison, megapixels don't have a huge impact on the image. For instance, my iPhone 5 has an 8 megapixel camera. Okay, and that fancy Nokia phone has a 41 megapixel camera. All that really allows you to do is to have more of a digital zoom, which I admit is nice, but Nokia is famous for having one great feature on each phone and then nothing else. But to give you another comparison point, you know The Hobbit, great series, I can't wait for the 3rd one. That was filmed on the Red Epic, which is 5K. It's way bigger than 4K. Amazing resolution. You probably have to go to IMAX to see it at full scale. And that Red Epic, you can check their website. The Red Epic is a little digital camera, huge processor, but guess how many megapixels it has? 9. So you can make Hollywood epic movies with 9 megapixels, but if the processor sucks, it really doesn't matter. So those of you who are trying to look at the detail and quality of a camera, don't focus too much on megapixels, because that usually doesn't make a huge impact. That's just a number the companies like to throw out there to make you think that it's more detailed or something. Moving on from the camera, there's a big debate about what will happen with the audio jack on the iPhone 6. If you look at like an iPhone 5 or a 5S, you realize that Apple is getting really close to how thin they can get with an audio jack so small. You know, there's not much more thinning space. Yes, the iPod Touch has an audio jack. So maybe we won't see it in this iPhone 6, but I really wish Apple would start making Bluetooth headphones. Apple's not against Bluetooth. They've been putting it on all their iMacs. I've owned Bluetooth headphones myself. These are cool, and they worked for about 3 months, and then they died. I'll talk about these in another video. But what would be awesome is there's just all these times I'm grabbing my headphones out of my pocket and I spend like a minute or 5 minutes just trying to untangle the dang things. Apple should make their earbuds, like they are already, just Bluetooth. Now this isn't a matter of if, it's when. But even if it comes out with the iPhone 6, I can still get them and hook them up to my iPhone 5. These would be an awesome headset, and we can finally get rid of all this scrambling around with headphones. The problem with wireless headphones, of course, is they have to be charged. So now you have to put more stuff in the packaging, but it can get a bit complicated. But having no wire to put from my ears to my pocket saves a whole lot of complications. So I think Apple will do it. If not with the iPhone 6, then the iPhone 7. But that'll be a different video. Moving on from the audio jack, the iPhone 6 may have a better screen. The iPhone 5 and the 5S don't have any separation in screen. They look the same. But Apple's competition has really amped it up with their HD displays. You see the Galaxy Note 3 or the Galaxy S4, and they have 1080p displays. Most TVs on the market, pretty much all of them, because there's not much 4K right now, pretty much all TVs on the market are 1080p. And now they're putting 1080p in our freaking pockets. Yes, they're chunky phones, they're fairly big, but the pixels per inch on them are way higher than the iPhone 6. Apple may increase the pixels per inch a little bit on the iPhone 6. Or, who knows, they could go all the way up to 1080p. And in your pocket, that looks great. The screen on the iPhone 5 looks amazing as it is. But I have seen rumors that the S5 or whatever Samsung's next Galaxy phone is could have a 2.5K screen. They're increasing the pixels per inch again. So that would be really cool. Of course, who knows, they might not change the screen at all. What is more likely though, is for them to just up the saturation on the screen or just the overall brightness on the pixels, which would be okay. I would still rather prefer a 1080p display in my pocket rather than whatever it is now, which is like 900 by 1100. It's something weird. But that'll be it for today. Hope you liked this video. Check out some other stuff on my channel, and definitely check out my separate channel where I make real movies, shorts, comedy sketches, and action and stuff with guns. If you have friends that you're watching this with that don't care about Apple or just tech in general, go show them that stuff. They might like it. Talk to you later.